You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello and welcome, or maybe it's welcome back if you saw our first show today that was mind-blowing, by the way. If you missed it, Life's Amazing Journey, please go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe to Dr. Jacalyn LLC. You are watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents A Better You. Lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. A team of people I have hand-selected myself based on what they have accomplished and what they are giving back to this world. I am your host, executive producer, director, and broadcast engineer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. My guest today has become a dear friend. We are actually also partnering together in business, which doesn't that say a lot? And we met through a friend of a friend of a friend. So please, people, get out there, make some connections. You're watching the show for a reason. You're going to be learning something wonderful. Let me bring out our expert presenter, Daphne Diluce. It's nice to see you, brand cleaver.
Yeah, hi. Well, lovely to be back again, Jackie. Jacalyn.
It's so nice to have you back. You were so experienced, so talented. And I have to say, from working with you, you really put your heart into everything that you do.
Thank you for that. It's so nice to be seen and appreciated. I do. But the thing is, it's like life doesn't work well unless you put your heart into things.
It's very true. And I do want to share with our audience that, you know, having a new business, being a new business owner, I have hired people over time. I've paid money for things that were never delivered. And it all happened for a reason, because it brought me to where I am. So what I want to just let people know is that Daphne is the real deal. She really does care about her work. She cares about her clients, and she delivers from the first day on. I have been completely astonished at what you've been able to come up with in such a short time, which our audience doesn't know yet. We are not revealing it yet, but just throwing it out there. We're going to have a whole new brand refresh, marketing approach. Everything's going to be different. So
it's really exciting, and it's a magical process because you're very willing to step forward, and you let go of any preconceived ideas. You trust, you listen, you do the work, you show up. You are absolute delight to work with, Dr. Jacalyn, and it's a pleasure. And the thing is, this is the thing, a lot of people actually don't want to listen or do the work.
Something I really want to share with our audience, and I'd like to have you weigh in on this before you do your presentation. I'm a big Shark Tank fan, and I know you have another show over there. I forget what it's called, Dragon's Den, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
But one thing that I've learned from watching that show, and I think they've been on for 12 seasons, is people have businesses like with me. You have a business, but it's actually a hobby until it becomes a full-fledged business where you have revenue coming in. And so I really feel like it's important for people to know sometimes to go from the hobby stage to where you actually have a revenue income stream, you have to work with experts. You have to hire people who already see things that you're not seeing because you're so engrossed in what it is that you're doing day to day. What are your thoughts about this?
Well, this is wonderful that you're saying this, because I never know what Dr. Jacalyn's going to say to me. It's all really kind of live and just really natural, which is wonderful. Well, today I'm actually going to talk about the power of attitude, because a lot of people actually don't realize that their business is a hobby, and you don't know what you don't know. So today we're going to cover that. And I'm actually going to be talking about what is a business and what is a hobby business, and how do you actually get over that threshold to that successful part of life and business.
Brilliant. That's exactly what we need to hear today. We already have a comment, and the comment is, I need this from Mitch. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. He's a fan of the show. It's great to have you. Daphne, I'm going to share a slide before you start. If you could just go ahead when you're ready and I'll go backstage.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Lovely to see everybody. Well, welcome to my Brand Clever section on Fridays at 3:30 and 3:30 British Summer Time. And wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, evening or night, it's a big welcome to you. And thank you for showing up. And thank you to listening to Dr. Jacalyn and myself, Daphne Diluce. Today, we're going to cover a topic, and it's all about creating your success. Now, the reason I've put this slide together, it is a white peacock, and I'm sure everybody knows about white peacocks, but in case you don't, they're very rare. They do exist, and a peacock has a beautiful tail. And actually, creating a successful business and life, it's just like you need a peacock's tail. You need to have so many things all in one place, and you need to step forward in your uniqueness. So today, the white peacock is our symbol. And then if we go to the next slide, I'm just going to run through what we're going to do today. And so if you get your pens and papers, or make sure you download or record this lesson, because it's going to be useful for you again and again to listen, and then to let that resonate with how you're feeling and what you need right now. So what we're going to be covering is building a life and brand worth living. So we're going to be talking about a big idea and what to do with that, professional planning, what that is, and wake up to your timing and really look at having a power attitude. And then lastly, we're going to have a very short little talk about body talk. So it's aside now, because you know I just love to talk to you. I think PowerPoints are really great and slides are great, but there's nothing like the human contact. And you know, I look forward to when I can meet many of you in person, because that's so much nicer. Anyway, but let's be grateful for technology and grateful for the day and grateful for meeting online. So let's start. So success, what is that? Now, the thing is, a lot of people have incredible amount of pain in their life. And if you just kind of just sit still for a minute and just think about your pain, your disappointments, and if somebody asks you whether you were successful, what would you say? Could you say yes? Could you say no? Would you be embarrassed to say anything? Would you want to hide? Or could you just, you know, really put your chest out and go, I am so successful, or I'm successful sometimes? Yeah. Your answer is your own. Nobody can hear your thoughts. It's okay. But, you know, it's very important that you can be honest with yourself. Now, I've worked with, gosh, I've lost count of how many thousands of people I've worked with now in my lifetime. But the thing is what I observe from working with all these wonderful souls is that some people are successful sometimes. And success can actually change as you change, as your thoughts change, as environments change, opportunities come and go. So the thing is, you have to kind of start with actually understanding the words that we're talking about. Anyway, today, the way I'm going to position that word success is for your next project, your next idea, or your next big idea that you're going to be working on, to make that successful. How do you do it? Okay. And I hope, and I don't mean this in a negative sense at all, I do hope that many of you can celebrate the times when you haven't been successful, when you've been disappointed. Maybe you've spent money and got nothing back. Maybe people have disappointed you. Maybe people have taken what is rightly yours. And all these things in life happen. But you meet people in life, you meet people in life for a reason, a season, or for life. And people really show you who they are. And all these things, if you're just patient, they play out, and you can see why certain things happened. And then so I know a lot of the things where I wasn't successful at all, even though I should have been mighty successful, turned out to be huge blessings. So we learn and we become more experienced, and the next time round, we should be more ready. Anyway, let's talk about the big idea. So we just want you to kind of just dare to dream and dare to think about the idea you can muster. And just feel that for a minute. And now 10x it, make it bigger, much bigger. Now, I've done some incredible things in my life, and I've always been told I'm never going to pull it off. I'm never going to do it. I'm never going to achieve it. I'm not having one of those, and blah, de, blah, de, blah. You know, I've never taken any notice of anybody. It's like I listen, but I don't. But what I do instead is I love to be curious, observe, do my homework, do my research. And I like to talk to people and study so I can compress decades of experience and learning into days or hours instead of doing all that suffering. And that's a good thing to do. And we are so tuned in to each other and knowledge now that we can do this. And a lot of it we can even do without spending a penny or $1, wherever you are. Anyway, so let's get back to this big idea. The reason is to 10x these big ideas of yours is because for you to actually bring something to life, you have to visualize it, and you really do. Visualization is so important. A lot of people have a problem with this. So this is why using images is really good to focus on. So our image for today is the white peacock. Okay, so imagine that your project is as unique and as beautiful and as fantastic as this wonderful white peacock. So think about what that is. So maybe you want to open a coffee shop. Maybe you want to have a life traveling and working from your laptop. Maybe you want to do something with catering or children or healing or whatever it is. Or maybe you just would like to have a better life in your own home. Maybe you'd like to become more confident. Maybe you'd like to actually start succeeding and actually thriving more, whatever it is. So start with something simple, just one idea, and 10x it. So now the thing is, success isn't about being a busy fool, and it isn't about running around being super busy, spending loads of money and thinking that you know it all. Success actually is 80% psychology and 20% skills. So just kind of think about that. Now, where people actually get distracted from their success is actually because they get very often emotionally triggered. Somebody says they can't do something, maybe their partners, husbands and wives, siblings, families don't agree with what they're doing. And it's like if you have this wonderful dream and it's like a great big yellow balloon, and then somebody takes a big pin and pops it. Well, it's your responsibility not to let them pop your balloon of ideas and to keep visualizing and bringing all these things to life. So the thing is, you have to use your psychology to actually get yourself mentally and emotionally fit. Okay, so let's just park that big idea stuff and the psychology and the skills aside a minute, and let's move on to professional planning. Now, Dr. Jacalyn was just saying about how many business can become hobbies and they're not monetized and you can't scale them and grow them. And actually, it can cost a lot of people a lot of money just to be very busy doing all sorts of things, people pleasing, and actually being in process and systems and services that just cost a lot. So they're just churning. I just call that churning. They're just going round and round. Actually, I was very lucky this week to have a beautiful dinner by the river, and a very nice lady came and put some wonderful food on the table. And I just looked up. I had such a long day. It was 14 hours of a lot of intense work. And I just said, I so appreciate you. Thank you so much for putting this on the table. And I'm so lucky. Really, that's so kind. And she said, oh, no, I'm lucky. I used to have a hotel, like a bed and breakfast. I had 8 bedrooms. I used to work so hard, and we gave that up last year. And now I just come and I wait on tables. I have less stress, more time, and more money. I love it. She said, so you can, I will serve you all day long. Well, that was just a lovely exchange. But that is like a very good example how you actually can get yourself in a bit of a fix when you're actually churning instead of actually designing and branding and scaling a business. Okay, so what is professional planning? So the thing is, a lot of people actually kind of go from what drives them the most, which is perhaps passion or excitement. They get the big idea, they'll go for it. They'll just go and rent something or buy something or just go with no planning. And this is absolutely awful because it's just an accident waiting to happen. So professional planning is a lot about time and actually writing down your ideas. And actually I do documents that are called clarity and direction documents, where with clients I work down and actually getting the clarity of where they are and where they want to go and what has to happen to get there so it'd be successful. And those documents, oh my goodness, they have saved lifetimes of time and a fortune, and also made people a fortune just by actually looking into professional planning. The thing is, planning is also when you kind of, as I talk today, saying build a life and a brand worth living. We nowadays, when we have businesses, we have to fit our lives into it. So the thing is, with planning, it's about integrating your life and your business and your time and your family. It's integration. This work-life balance, in my opinion, is a pile of rubbish. How can you have a work-life balance if you've got lots of children, lots of bills, lots of people to please? There's not enough hours in the day. Cash flow might be short, but everybody needs and wants are sounding very loud. How can you have a work-life balance in those conditions? So you're setting yourself up to fail, so don't do it. But when you think about actually having, integrating your time and your lifestyle, and one example of that, yesterday I went out when I was on the road a lot. I was in a little town. I saw some clients. I did all sorts of things. Actually, I did more on the road and out than I did if I was in my office. But at the same time, I was looking at the lovely trees. I was listening to music when I was driving. I was having nice calls and having a nice cup of coffee somewhere. So it was about integration. And actually, I actually got 10 times more done yesterday than I would be if I was kind of in what I call the sweat box. So this is also important as well, to think about how you're going to use your time, how you're going to integrate your life and what you're creating in your daily practices. Now, the thing is, it's so important to kind of wake up to timings, because this is where a lot of people fail. Because when they're setting up a business, they get hugely distracted on doing the things that they like, not doing the things that are going to make their business strong or where the money's going to come from. So it's really important to work on the business and actually take time to work on the business instead of doing the business. A little sit there. Yeah. So, and what I mean by that, if say you've got a window cleaning company and you're working 12 hours a day and you come home and you're tired, the weekends, the family wants you, but you've got no time to develop products, new clients, new ways of working each other, or actually thinking about what kind of clients would be better for you and where do you find them, then that business isn't going to grow. You're just going to be busy, busy, busy and never grow. But when you take time to work on your business in detail and then start delegating and finding people who can help you, and help can show up in many ways. Some people, they should maybe just get a cleaner so they can actually be working and earning $500 and paying a cleaner $10 or $15 an hour, or how much ever anybody gets paid. I don't know what people get paid. There's various values in this world. But then the thing is, it's a no-brainer. things like this. You don't always have to be hiring staff. It's about finding people that can help you. Another thing where it's a huge underused resource is that's interns. There are so many wonderful young people who just love to have the opportunity to learn and be a part of. Find some interns and let them help you and help them. You can help them in many ways. This all goes to do with timing, because when you are in leadership role and you delegate and you actually start scheduling and project planning, you'll see you'll be a wizard of time. And another thing, this timing thing, you have to be ahead of your game. You have to have your marketing ready, your website ready, your branding done. You have to have your contacts, your scheduling all organized, but ahead of the game, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months ahead, not, do it as you go. Oh, it's Monday, I'll just pull a few things together. Huge amount of time and energy and opportunity is lost this way. So that's not a good idea. And if you're doing it, please stop. Right. Now, the next thing is about the power of attitude. Now, how do you feel when you're in the traffic and you're driving along and actually you're doing what you're supposed to be doing? You're in the right lane, you're going the right speed, you're not offending anybody, but somebody behind you starts, blowing the horn, waving their arms around, and obviously they're irritated at something that you're doing, even though you're not doing anything. I think these things can happen. And the thing is, what we have to do is realize that actually how life could just play out randomly can affect us. Those kind of things can really distract us. And it's someone else's kind of bad day. The thing is, it's so important that your attitude can actually stay in a very calm state, and not be pulled out into a bad attitude because of their bad attitude, because all these things are really contagious. So you have to be really careful. And the thing is, that's a very simple analogy, but it's a good one to think about, because what happens, it's like people with road rage can trigger other people into road rage really quickly. But this can happen in your house. It can happen in your workplace. It's like people's bad moods or grumpy attitudes or aggressive behaviors can really affect you. It becomes toxic. And this is another thing where you really have to actually observe your habits, other people's habits, and your work environment, and who's affecting you. And I always ask people that when I'm working with, and we, sometimes we're doing some brainstorming for things, and I say, blocking you, or bringing you any toxicity into your dream or your big idea. And there always are a few people. Sometimes it's your nearest and dearest, sometimes it's yourself. But these things, it's so important to kind of really polish your attitude, because a great attitude will bring great results. A patient attitude is also really, really good. An attitude to actually seek first to understand, as Stephen Covey would say, but really do that and really listen. Okay? So it's all in the attitude. Oh, there's really not enough time. Like with each section, I could write a book. There's so much to tell you and to share. Anyway, so I'm really hoping that this is helping. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is body language. Now, this is so important. And it's so important to start actually using your senses, because you have them for a reason. So it's really good to kind of like watch people's faces, watch their body language. Are they making eye contact? How are they talking to you? And more importantly, what you're doing. So as you're going to step out into the world to be more successful, bring a good attitude. I always say bring the joy and bring clarity and direction. Lead, don't follow. Work on your business. Perfect professional planning. 10x your big idea, and start really bringing this into a form. And you will see, if you change your habits and you actually start doing these things, you will get return on these ideas, and you will get return on these behaviors that you change. The thing is, it's all also in the body talk as well, because when somebody absolutely knows their stuff, and I met up with a client yesterday, and we've just completed her clarity and direction document, and she went from being a very vibrant, lovely girl to an absolutely, wow, she's outstanding. She is dynamite, because now she can talk about her project clearly, coherently. She's raising money for a project. She's so comfortable in her seat when she's talking all about it. She knows what she's doing. She knows why she's doing it. She knows the timing, how to do it all. And of course, what's happening? Lots of people are showing up to help her, and her project is ready to actually take off big time. So the thing is, and her body talk actually was really beautiful yesterday. Shoulders back, head up, talking confidently, happy, nice pace, not pushy, and really loving what she is doing, but not loving in a gushing way, in a really professional manner. And it's just like when you go to a professional, you want to be respected, you want to be heard, and you want to be served well. So, give people what you want and what is good for you as well. Be kind. There's not enough. So then you not only let your mouth do the talking, think about what your mouth is saying. Just delay those words for a few seconds. You can ask a question while you're thinking, and let your body do the talking. And also, sit nicely, dress nicely, think about your grooming, and don't do anything to anyone that you wouldn't like yourself. So here are just a few little ideas of how you actually start to bring your big idea to fruition, how to start your projects. And some of these things already, but it's not knowing isn't enough. It's about changing your habits and actually doing it, and actually planning your day. And if you're a morning person, do the things in the morning. If you're a night owl, do the things at night. It doesn't matter, but you have to tune into yourself. Anyway, so that is my section for now. So cheers to you and to your success, and may you be able to create a beautiful peacock's tail where you work on many things equally to bring it all together, to fuse all your ideas, to fuse your psychology, to fuse your actions, to fuse your investment of time, energy, and money into your success. Thank you for listening.
Excellent, Daphne, as always. You have such a lovely way of delivering presentation and content. You're so genuine, and you don't stand on pretense, and you just bring your heart to everything. As I mentioned before, I loved a lot of what you shared with us. We do have a number of comments, which I'm going to put up, but I just want to put up this slide and just talk about this. Look at this slide of the visualization. It's strong, it's clean, it's pretty, it's interesting, it catches the eye, and you designed that. I think I don't know, I just love everything that you did. And you were talking about PowerPoints, and people get crazy with slides. They have 100 slides and none of them mean anything. This one slide in and of itself stands alone.
Well, thank you for that. And also, too, there's a lot in that slide, because actually I'm using symbols, and how the human brain works actually is in pictures. When we were all running away from giant dinosaurs, we didn't read it right. We used it with symbols and imagery. And that's how the brain really works. So, and it's good to have beautiful symbols in your office or around you to help you focus on great things. And I'm glad that you like the slide decks today, because I wanted this presentation to be powerful, but I also wanted people to tap into abilities in a beautiful way, and not overthinking things or getting too technical, because you can really lose the plot with that.
You definitely can. And I just love this. First of all, the peacock is one of my favorite creatures, one of my favorite animals, because they're so beautiful. They're so intricate. They're so delicate, and they stand out. And I love how you made the peacock white. I think that's just beautiful.
Well, actually, that peacock is white, and that's also, yeah, it is white. And the thing is, these white peacocks are very rare. But you see how I see people and clients and the people that I work with, I have the ability to actually see them as the rare, unique being that they all are, because everybody is unique and everybody has something wonderful to bring into their life and in others. So you see, it's symbolic. And it's really, really good because it's like it helps a person tap into their specialness, to their selves. Not about me, it's about you guys.
I just want to share a few of the comments that we have. So Mitch is with us, and he was on Facebook. Now he's on LinkedIn, which is great. Great topic. He also puts no PowerPoint promises. Excellent points. Big thinkers, Elon, Steve Jobs, Sir Richard Branson, and you, Daphne.
Well, I could thank you so much. That feels like velvet and chocolate all at once. Thank you.
Success, personal or professional, lifts your life. Well-being and more important, the people around you. Yes. We have Joe Loney. Thank you for watching, Joe. Also, #boom. And life's a one-way journey. And also, I need to consult with her, designing awareness for a startup client of mine. All right, potentially a new client. That's fabulous. Thank you, Mitchell, for making that introduction to Daphne. Her information streaming across the bottom. So, Daphne, I want to take a commercial, but I really don't, because there's so many things I want to talk to you about. I want to go back to the beginning when you were talking about the yellow balloon and the pin. And you and I have discussed this, that for whatever reason, people want to give information. They want to tell you what they think about what you're doing, even if you don't ask them. And so I personally experience pins coming from all over the place on a daily basis. And you have to have sort of like, I don't want to say a pillar of strength, but you have to know that what you believe in is, and you understand what you're doing, and other people don't. And you need to focus on working with experts and not listening to the outside noise.
Absolutely. But the way that I do it is I identify that as a distractor. And I don't know if anybody watches the Harry Potter films. I'm quite a big kid at heart. Anyway, I don't know if anyone's seen where that letter arrives and it literally flies through the hall and it's making a horrible noise and you just want to snap it down. Well, the thing is, when I see these things coming at me, I see it like that as a distractor, and I just bat it away, go, oh, distractor. And you have to kind of program your mind with something maybe, fun and light, not negative, never be negative to anyone. But no, that's a distractor. So that goes back to where it came. And you see, it doesn't help anything. And this is also another thing that for us, it's about all checking about what we're saying. So we're not kind of saying, oh, you did that wrong, or that's not very good, but actually think before you speak, because no one knows what you're up to. And I know behind the scenes, you're up to some phenomenal things, Dr. Jacalyn, and so many people are going to benefit. And, the world is a better place just because you're there, you see. So the thing is, though, if they really knew that and understood that, then, they wouldn't say anything so much. They'd say, well done. What can we do to help you? So it's your job to identify it as a distractor and bat it away.
Very good advice. Thank you for that. I also liked how you talked about your presence, how you show up. And if I were doing the show and I was like this, what would you think? She's not really engaged. She's not. What would you think?
I would say, why such a pretty lady like you hovering over the desk? Have you got backache? I would probably use humor.
We do see people who, when, they show up slumped over, their hair is askew, they look like they're not taking interest. And so that's sort of like a mirror into who they are. Maybe it's just that day, that's how they are. But if you're just meeting someone for the first time, you want to make sure you're showing up and giving the other person your full attention. And this leads me to a decision that I decided to make myself. as you know, I do 18 shows a week. And by the time I get to the last one today, I'm not all there, honestly. I'm just not. I'm tired. I want to be like this. So I decided I'm not going to do it anymore. I decided I put a block. You can't book for that show. And that was a hard decision for me because I thought, oh, I'm not going to have 18 shows anymore. Now it's going to be 17. Ooh. But I thought, who cares about the number? Show up authentically so I can give the guest the attention that they deserve.
Absolutely. And there's one thing there's many things wonderful about being human. But one of the biggest gifts you can give someone is to be present with them. And you know what? Give less people more of your presence than loads of people trying to stretch yourself. And also it's like if your body is wanting to lean over or is tired, or you're holding your arms, or your head is going down, or you start to shake your leg or twitch, or anything is happening to your body, it's your job to look at yourself. Well, what's going on with me? Why am I like that? Because there'll be something around you affecting you. And the thing is, actually, your wiser self was saying, Dr. Jacalyn, that show has to go, because we need to lighten the load so we can actually create more quality and a better thing. And also you look after yourself, because you're needed. It's important. So the thing is, this idea about actually body talk and having a power attitude are huge topics. Absolutely huge. I could do a whole workshop on it, because the thing is that you have to be able to manage yourself. And the thing is, so your body will talk to you, and you might not realize that you're in a toxic relationship, or you're being abused, or you're being undermined, but your body will realize. So this is why, it's very important actually to observe yourself. It's actually good to have a mirror around when you're working. You can see yourself. Don't do that. Why am I doing that? Go and have a drink of water. Go and have a walk. But this is so important, because sometimes we're only going to get one shot at a pitch. And if we do not bring forth the joy and the wisdom and the wonderfulness, we've lost that forever. That's why it's so important.
It's very true. We do have a question. Let's see. From Mitchell. And I think this is a good topic. Texting kills building relationships. What are some tips? So some people are so engrossed in that's the only means of communication, or their primary means of communication. What are your thoughts about this, Daphne, when it comes to business?
I love this question. It depends how old people are. And sometimes just texting back is a good idea if they're a younger generation, because they actually, it makes them feel comfortable, so they step forward. But it's always good to kind of text to say, let's take this wonderful conversation and meet for a coffee, or what day can you meet, or would you like to tell me more of this, in person, or whatever. And actually be bold and step forward and actually take charge of the relationship. And ask questions, and actually through the texting, do some nice texting to get them to reveal themselves, and have humor. And this is important, because texting isn't going to go away. So this is why it's a really good question. Another thing that we have, because we have now, we're living in a world that has been changed. So we're all having to create the new world, as I call it. And texting isn't going to go away, and technology is not going away. But we have to claim back our humanness, and we have to do this by actually spending time with people in the physical. And if you cannot reach people through texting and they're not going to step forward, then we have to find people who will interact with us on a human level. And those are a few tips. I could probably go on for half an hour, but I'm going to stop now on that question.
They're excellent tips. We do have another question, but I want to ask you this. So you and I, when we first met, you shared with me that you're very selective in whom you work with, and people reaching out to you all the time. And I think that there's a really important message there for business owners, that you have to understand who it is that you want to work with, who you're trying to attract, who the clients are that you're trying to bring in. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, one thing that I love to do is something called disqualify. You disqualified or you qualify. And this is a gift, because the thing is, if you've got somebody that comes forward and they say, well, I really want to work with you, but they don't listen, they don't show up, they don't do the work, then I will say, save your money, go to a football game, go and have a massage, go on a holiday, don't bother, and when you're awake, come back, then I'll be happy. The thing is, my business partner, my partner Stephen, and we have a company called Raw Media Creative. We do something that's called true news and true media. So we only do things that are authentic and true, and that is going to actually really make a difference to organizations, people, businesses, and things like that. So that's why disqualification is good. You can't say yes to things that aren't good. You have to say no. It's not no forever. It's only no at the moment until you raise your standards and you're ready to come and do something really good. And I'll be delighted.
And Daphne, how do you say, or how would you suggest our audience they say no without burning a bridge?
Well, this is easy, because it's about listening and asking questions. Okay, so say somebody saying, well, I really want to work with you and the assistant and whatever. And I do this all the time. Yeah. And when did it was? Oh yes, there was one yesterday. A lady wants to work with me, but she wasn't sure about financing the project. So I just said to her, would you like people to pay you when you open your doors? And she said, oh, yes. And she was giving me some very large figures. And I said, well, doesn't it feel nice when people will exchange on the value and how important it is to have a value exchange? I value you, you value me. It has to be like a lovely figure eight. You can't have like a tiny little, I'm going to give you this, expect to have this from you. And that is an imbalanced relationship. That's never going to work. So instead of just saying no, you just ask questions and have nice little conversations to say, well, would you like a balanced exchange? Would you like to feel so proud of what we're going to achieve? Yeah. Questions like that, and then people can answer the no themselves. It's not about calling anyone out or being mean, but you have to be strong enough to lead, and you have to be strong enough and actually clear-headed enough to actually demonstrate, what you're doing, why you're doing, and also on what they perhaps need to step up to. Because we've got enough yes people into this world. We need to have people that push back and stand up for the good stuff. We have lots of it.
Brilliant. Thank you. Do you have time for one more question?
Oh, yes, I have time.
Okay, perfect. Another one from Mitchell. Any Zoom body language tips?
Yes, absolutely. Grooming. Absolutely grooming. And also get dressed properly. Because the thing is, you can tell, actually, if the people are wearing shorts and a shirt. There's a little bit of stiffness, or I'm not going to kind of move around in case he sees my shorts. Show up for work, have a lovely shower or bath, whatever it is you do. Make sure your hair's nice. And even if you can't go to the hairdresser, you can still kind of like comb it or gel it or tie it up or do something with it. Put your best face forward, and also bring a good attitude. And the thing is, and also make sure that actually you're actually in the frame of the Zoom and that you're actually making eye contact with the person. The thing is, a lot of people on Zoom, they might kind of sit kind of like that looking at you, or they might kind of like be hovering around and there's all that space. That's not good. Head down, shoulders down, not good. And also for guys, I think that it's a good idea to put a shirt on. You don't always have to have a jacket. But when you're too casual, you can be casual when you go to the beach or you're really relaxing. But when you're showing up on Zoom, put your shirt on. And for the ladies, put something on that shows a little bit more, something that a leader would wear. And the thing is, that's another good tip about these Zoom conferences or these Zoom meetings. kind of match what the topic is. You know, if you've got to be kind of very soft and very delicate and a delicate, soft conversation, then wear delicate and soft and match the energy. You know, if you've got something really powerful to say, you know, then look sharp and clear. And another thing too, not too many patterns, and try to harmonize the picture. You know, so those are some tips as well.
I love that. And you know, I thank you, Mitchell, for engaging with our show. One thing I want to share, I think this is kind of interesting. You know, I'm interviewing people all week, and sometimes I don't say anything, but sometimes I'm shocked at how people show up for an interview. And I think to myself, do you realize this is going to be out in the public domain forever? And you decided to pick your bedroom to be the place, and your bed's unmade and your clothes are all over. I mean, I'm literally speechless at how people show up for an interview.
Well, you see, that's a language. And this is something that you've really got to think about. Actually, what language are you speaking? Because that's showing that they have no organization. They do not have any, you know, their standards are low. And also, too, that they actually haven't put any time into preparing for you.
Yes.
Right? So that, and also, there's a lovely saying that is not what people bought for you did for you. You remember how people made you feel. This is a big one. So the thing is, if you're looking at an unmade bed, I would be looking at that thinking, gosh, they haven't prepared for me. They can't value me. And if they do that and they're going to show me that on Zoom, they're quite lax. Then they're going to be, with whatever they're doing for me, they're going to be quite lax. So therefore, that would add up to disqualification. This is why this body language and attitude, and even actually showing up and making sure your presentation to camera is actually enjoyable for other people to watch. And their time's valuable. That's their life force, their time. Very important.
Yes, thank you for sharing that, because that is how I feel. I feel like I'm showing up and doing the work, and then someone's coming on and other people wanted that spot, and they're showing up just like they rolled out of bed. And so anyway, if you're out there listening, please don't show up for an interview without being prepared and being in a professional environment and taking some of the tips that Daphne has shared with us.
Also, I do want to say something about this bedroom thing, because it's about, it gives totally the wrong message. You know, there are certain Zoom calls that one might have from a bedroom, but if you're into business or you're into actually coaching or something like that, it's an absolute no-no, you know? So this is, you've really got to think about actually, and this is also goes back to what I was talking today about, you know, professional planning. So kind of, you have to plan the whole thing. What's it going to look like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? What are the timelines? Who are the people? And this goes back to the peacock's tail. That's why I've used it today, because there's so many things you have to think about all at once, you know? And I also think that it's a good idea that if you are not preparing for your presentations, you know, at least kind of 2-3 hours, and perhaps your presentations need a bit of a polish. Anyway, we could also do a little lesson on that in the future.
Wonderful. And I think, Mitchell has another comment. Let's see. Use Zoom backgrounds. Yes, this is actually a good idea. You can also just use a blank wall. If you don't have a huge space that you don't have a lot of options, you could just have your Zoom screen, you know, there's a blank wall behind you. That's fine.
Absolutely. But you know, today, there's no reason why you can't have a fantastic background. And another thing that you can do, and we have to be careful here, because sometimes on Zooms, calls, when they use green screen and the backgrounds, if people are not proficient in setting that up, they can look like this time travelers, and they're fading in and out of their picture, and it looks a little distorted, which is also the brain is going to say something's not right here, so they're not going to have as much confidence in you. But when they work, they are fantastic, and I would agree with Mitchell. But another idea too, you can get from the printer these pull-ups. You can get like a branded pull-up made, really nice large one with your logo behind it. You can just pull that up and have an instant background and take that anywhere. You know, so the thing is, it's about planning and thinking about it.
Yes.
But ideally, you see, this is where I get really excited. When you have a brand and your branding is done correctly, your background's going to be amazing because it's all figured out for you. There we go.
And I'm so excited for when we do what's it called? The reveal of my new branding.
Reveal. Da, da, da. Oh, yeah. I sometimes I get a really sore arm because I do I do all the designing myself and I do the graphics myself. And so I do thousands and thousands of clicks some days just to kind of make something. And when I know I've got a really sore arm, I'm thinking, okay, this is good. It's happening. It's coming in. And I like to do that. I don't actually, with the stuff that I make, I don't farm it out. I delegate in other ways because it's really about having that fine brush stroke, that artist's ability to kind of really get that together. So I know everyone's going to love the stuff because it looks like you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. A last topic. We've got a few minutes left. Meanwhile, it's supposed to be 15 minutes, and we're over an hour. We're going into an hour, which I love because you and I could just chat forever. You talked about work-life balance, and I think to your point, and the reality is, if you really want your business to go from a hobby to a business that has revenue coming in, you have to put in the time. And you have to do the work. And that does mean, at least I find, it means you have to sacrifice certain things. And you certainly can't sacrifice your health. You certainly can't sacrifice taking care of yourself. But maybe, going out golfing, maybe going out with friends and to parties. I find that all these things are a distraction. And you have to have time for mental health. And you have to have time. But if you love what you're doing, then a lot of those things fall by the wayside because this is your passion.
Exactly, but a good way I call it weaving. So the thing is, it's if people want to know where to go, they always ask me because I make it. It's one of my things that actually, when I set up a meeting for people, I will set it up in the most beautiful environment I can find, whether it's just a simple coffee or it's a big meeting. I will even take people on a boat ride for a meeting. It's all doable. It's not, and it doesn't even have to be expensive. It can be really the cost of a meal. But the thing is, it's how you plan it, how you organize it. So it's about actually really planning and thinking out how you're going to live the best life and be the best you. But actually, and sacrifice. Yes, we do sacrifice things. But it's about wake up, use your time better, and integrate in your day. And the thing is, if you and your health is important, what you eat is important. But plan it. You don't always have to cook yourself. You can have meetings where there's some really great food. Maybe the food's even better than you make yourself. And also if you like golf, you like parties. Well, then perhaps create a party where the people there that you actually want to talk to. And another thing too, don't be afraid to open different doors to what you know. Because this is another thing where people get stuck and they don't really we call it the law of the lid. They don't have like a high ceiling or a skyscraper. They stay quite low. But you've got to really see things much bigger and knock on doors that you don't normally knock. Go to places that you don't normally go to. And create your fun within your kind of business process. And actually, you will find you'll have a much nicer time than trying to hang on to comfort. I think comfort is bad news. It's very nice to have a foot massage. That's nice. But if that's all you did, you get nothing done. So comfort is good, but yeah, don't get into the comfort zone. Get into the action zone and the wide awake, good attitude, doing it, get things done zone.
And the comfort zone can be quite limiting. I know I shared with you and others that I decided to take it's a little radical approach that for 18 now, it'll be 17, but it's 18, shows to stand for every one of them, which is not an easy thing to do. And why am I doing it? Because there are a lot of people who can't stand, right? There are people. So I'm making a statement, but at the same time, I'm going out of my own comfort zone and pushing myself to another limit, which believe me, is not easy. but that's my point. Easy, I don't want easy. Easy's not for me.
This is wonderful, but that's where the rewards will be. That's where the growth is. And when people say, "Oh, you're so lucky," luck has got nothing to do with it. It's about showing up. And 50% of success is just showing up anyway. You just show up, and sometimes don't say so much. Be willing to actually help, give, listen, do, be nice.
I love it. You're so wonderful. And you've brought so many amazing points. Thank you to Mitchell for your engagement with the show. And thank you to Joe. We have a bunch of people who are watching on Facebook as well. So if you happen to miss the beginning of this or any part, please go over to our YouTube channel, Dr. Jacalyn LLC. And I'm very excited because right after this, I'm going to be getting a lesson on how to make my YouTube channel more effective. So I'm looking forward to that. Social media in and of itself is it's something I don't think that people can tackle by themselves. I really don't, because every platform has their own algorithms and rules. So starting out with YouTube.
Well, you're going to learn a lot. And I know that this year we had amazing success with kind of growing numbers quickly on YouTube. And there is a science to it. You see all this wonderful stuff. This is what I'm saying. Compress decades of other people's experience and get it in days. That's what. Anyway, yeah. On that note, Jacalyn, thank you so much for having me. I just love our conversations, and I really enjoyed Mitchell's interaction today. So thank you, Mitchell. Thank you, Joe, for the sign. I know you're there, and I wish everyone a wonderful weekend.
And Daphne, before we go, for people who are listening on the radio and can't see your banner, what's the best way to reach you?
Well, I've got a very unusual name, Daphne Diluce. So it's DaphneDiluce.com, DaphneDiluce.com, or Daphne@DaphneDiluce.com email.
And by the way, Daphne, I want to apologize. I said at the beginning of the show, brand clever. I said brand cleaver, I think, which was the wrong thing. So it's brand clever. So
and I called you Jackie. I'm so sorry. You're not Jackie. I know that. I think I was just having a bit of a brain. Dr. Jacalyn and brand clever. And the reason I called it brand clever is actually because I have so many methodologies and wonderful ways of kind of helping people to create clever brands that actually work.
Fantastic. Mitchell wants you to know that he sent you an email. So
wow, so lovely. I'll go and read it and respond right now.
That's great. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to chatting with you over the weekends and another brilliant lesson.
Thank you. And also I look forward to next week.
Woo! Yes, I can hardly.
I'm already up to stuff. I'm so excited about the next one. Anyway, I'll post on Facebook. Okay, lots of love to everyone. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye, Daphne.
Bye.
I just love what I do, get to interact with people like Daphne and learn so much. And again, if you're not picking up on this, she just gave you so many lessons that you didn't have to pay for. So I hope that you will pay it forward and go out there and help someone else. I hope you'll take her lessons to heart. I hope you reach out to her. And remember, she has the ability to say disqualified, and don't take it personally. She only has so much time. We've got some other shows coming up. I have a story to tell with Philip Sykes. He is the principal at the British School of Etiquette. We love Philip. He teaches us so much about manners and etiquette, which is so important in this world. After that, we have pet psychic Amina, and Dottie Boone is returning, the Reverend Dottie Boone. We love speaking with her. And then we also have stories of hope, inspiration, and overcoming adversity. And Pet Psychic Amina is actually my guest. She has a very interesting journey that she's been on, and we're going to get to hear her story today. The variety show is canceled for today because we don't have a guest. And guess what? I'm just as happy. Our guest had to cancel, and I get to have that time back. So thank you all for being here, and I look forward to seeing you in just a few I think we will be rejoining in 2 hours. So I hope you make the best of your 2 hours. Come back when Philip Sykes shares more about etiquette and manners. Talk to you soon.